Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're going to take a look at one of the national championship playoff games. We've got Ohio State and Clemson. Ralph, there was a lot of talk that last week. Who should be the 4 teams in? A lot of discussion about Ohio State. The big picture, they played well all year, one loss. But that one loss was to Penn State, who went on to win their division of the Big Ten and then, of course, win the Big Ten championship game. So like it or not, Ohio State's here. Clemson, they did what they needed to do. They had one loss as well. They had a couple games during the season that they didn't play well, but the games that really mattered seemed like they showed up this year. Louisville, Florida State, they got the games that they needed, and they got a chance to get a mulligan, so to speak, and get back to the national championship. How are you looking at this one?
Yeah, I'm going to jump back and talk about your pick on Ohio State. Now, the committee says the important things are head-to-head and winning your division. The most important thing is the record. Ohio State had 1 loss, Penn State had 2. So let's start with that. That's something everyone skips over. Now, the Buckeyes, you got to remember, the Buckeyes came in to this season with the fewest starters in college football, 6 starters. I think that gives them a huge advantage in this game. You have all those young kids and first-time starters that played this entire year, now went through the bowl practices, and I think you can see a marked improvement in this upcoming bowl game. Clemson returned 13 starters. They were in the championship. You got exactly what you expected all year. I don't think you could see a huge improvement because of the bowl practices, because of the experienced squad. The difference in this game for me, turnovers. We know Ohio State's secondary is fantastic. 7 defensive touchdowns, second to only Alabama on the year. But J.T. Barrett, a 24-5 ratio. Ohio State lost 4 fumbles on the year. Deshaun Watson had 15 interceptions this year, and Clemson lost 9 turnovers. So Ohio State minus 9 turnovers, 9 lost. Clemson, 24 lost. And I think that's the difference in this game.
Well, definitely they got to have a clean game. You're never going to win when you've got 2 quality opponents like this if you end up being -2 or -3 in the turnover department. Ohio State, like you said, remarkable what they did considering what they brought back. But as we say it every year, and we talked about it at the beginning of the season when everybody on the panel was high on Ohio State, thought that the odds makers, really undervalued them because of all of the NFL, draft selections of people that they lost. But programs like that, they don't rebuild, they just reload. They got all the blue chip recruits, and we're seeing that now, and they do get better as the season goes on. This Ohio State defense, they allowed 17 or fewer points in 7 of their 12 games this year. The most anybody scored on Ohio State this year was 27 points. Michigan did, and they got 10 of them in overtime. This is a team that's been ultra consistent. Clemson, though, when they face Clemson, this is going to be the best offense, in my opinion, that Ohio State has seen all year. Even though they faced Oklahoma earlier in the year, I think Clemson is more dynamic. They've got a great running game. They've got a passing quarterback, and they got that third element that every team wants. They want that quarterback that can run the football. And I think Deshaun Watson, he got his yards, but I don't think he was as quick to tuck the ball and run this year as he was last year, because I think, to me, and this is just an observation from me, when I watched Clemson in a lot of their games, the non-marquee games, it was almost like they were going through the motions, that they were bored, just let's hurry up and get to the to the playoffs, because they knew that if they didn't stub their toe more than once, that this was a team that was going to be here and get back to where they were last year, and they know they need Deshaun Watson. Now there's 2 games left on the season. I don't think there's any barriers. They're not putting any reins on him. He does everything, and Ohio State's going to have to face the full arsenal. And games, to me, are won or lost at the line of scrimmage. I think Clemson dominates the line of scrimmage. I know Ohio State's been good, but that Clemson offensive line, they average 309 pounds across the line. That even makes you and me look a little small.
I think on the other side even more. Clemson's defensive line with great sacks, and Ohio State, I think, allowed 8 sacks versus Michigan in the final, so they can be beat. One thing I do want to bring up is coming back with adversity. Ohio State trailed 2 games this year at halftime and was tied at 1, and they won all 3. Clemson led every game this year, and the only game that was close, under 3 points at halftime, was a 1-point lead against Pitt, and that's the game they lost. So I think being able to come back from halftime is something Ohio State's done. I'm afraid Clemson hasn't, but I'm going to leave it on this note for Ohio State. Urban Meyer, 45-3 in games where he has an extra week to rest, to prep his team. One of those games was against Clemson a couple years in the Orange Bowl, but I can say this. Ohio State was a team that had won 24 straight games, was looking to get into the playoffs, lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten Championship, was not motivated against Clemson last time, and it was still a game that was within 7 points. 45-3 with extra time to rest for Urban Meyer.
All right, well, there you go. So I take it your lean is to Ohio State?
Lean is to Ohio State in this game.
All right, my lean is to Clemson, so you're going to have to dissect our two analysis for this one and see which way you want to go with it. Either way, should be a great game. And guys, don't forget, we've got the weekend all access as we do every week, but we've got an even special deal this week. It is our all access for 2017. Now, normally this package is $1,600, but if you act this week and use coupon code year 2017, that's year 2017, we will give you the entire calendar year of 2017 of your favorite capper for just $9.95. That's a savings of over $600. Check it out at wagertalk.com, and you get the rest of 2016 as a free bonus with that.
$20 a week.
$20 a week. That's a pizza.
$20 a week, and you're getting a handicapper for the entire year.
That's the way to go. Check it out at wagertalk.com. We'll be back next year with more here at wagertalk.com. Have a safe and happy new year. From Ralph Michaels, myself, Scott, Matt Holt, and the entire crew at Wager Talk, happy new year. See you in 2017.